Welcome everybody, my name is Michael. Today we're discussing about, well, not about cryptocurrency, but my personal finances and some good things that are finally happening that I was talking about a month or two ago, and why this year's going to be better financially and next year's going to be better financially than this year, and last year was terrible, and January was one of the worst financial months I've ever had, but that was for preparation for February right now, which is ending, which is also pretty bad, but a little less bad than last month. And next month is going to be a little bit better. And by the end of this year, we should be at a point where I feel comfortable. Not a point that it's like, oh, great, everything's fine. No, comfortable. But we weren't there last year. And for sure, Q1 of this year is... But there's three main things that are happening right now. Right now, I got a tax refund because I filed early. I got my federal tax refund came in. And then my Illinois tax refund, that could take up to 15 weeks, I guess, but that's if you filed without having a checking account in there. So, you know, they're going to do the traditional paper form, but a couple $100 always. So I'm hoping any week now, any week, maybe this week, you know, that'd be nice. But a couple $100, so over $400. And the tax refund was altogether with federal and Illinois, we were very close to $4,000. Now, that's not a good thing because that means that from last year, too much, and I do this, too much of my money was given to the government, and it's a 0% interest loan that they had for the better part of a year, and that's why we're changing a couple things. Now, huge difference is we filed married, you know, joint, and last year I was single, so obviously that's a big difference right there. Also, difference in income. I also have some crypto losses from multiple years ago. So there's a couple things going on there. We did pay. Second thing is we paid off a credit rebuilder loan. Took 2 years. Self-lender helped raise my credit. Now credit's not the best, but it is better. So, you know, we're rebuilding. It's a long journey, right? There's ups and downs, but long term, it's looking good, and gonna get around $520 and a couple cents back. So altogether, the loan was like $600, maybe $600 on the top, maybe a couple over $600, but worth it. I'm gonna get that. They're gonna send that out this Friday. Hopefully, I get it this Friday. Probably not. Probably next week, but that's gonna help. So Illinois tax refund that, and I turned 25, and my wife is now able to drive. So overall, with her and with me, yes, with her added onto the policy, it's more expensive, but it initially was a lot higher, and now it's moving down. And yes, it's going to be higher for the two of us, but per person, it's a much better ratio than it was like 2 months ago. And it is high right now because this is the last month, but my policy is going to stay the same, but the pricing will change next month. And it's going to be like $310, and then it's going to go to $305 per month, which for two vehicles that are financed right now for relatively new drivers, you know, I guess a couple years, but relatively new compared to 30, 50-year-olds, it's all right. You know, at least I'm saving over $100 per month starting next month. So the thing that sucks is it's still not this month, but big news, because, you know, that's more than $1,000 of savings throughout the year. So we've got those three things that are good that are happening this year. Also, there's another credit rebuilder loan that once that's paid off, that's going to also help boost my credit. But also, I'm going to get around $700 back, of which the whole loan is like $1,000 or $1,100, of which there's $1,000 left. It's, you know, you pay like $20 every week. So it's going to take a little bit, but it is going to be done. Should be done by the end of this year. Right now, my big hope is, you know, hopefully the economy gets a little bit better towards the end of this year. I know right now it's not great, but, you know, gas prices are better than they were at the worst part of last year. They're kind of rising. It's not great. Inflation's here and staying. Our salary did technically go up a little bit because we have salary and commission. It doesn't offset the inflation, but, you know, it is always something. One big thing I have planned is right now we have, I will be starting school and should have a student loan refund coming back, of which I'll probably use some of it for school. Other part of it I'll use to pay off higher interest loans, and this is a lower interest loan. So a 6% loan obviously is easy to use and pay off a 35% loan, and at least it'll reduce some of the interest. Also, big things, my wife got a work permit, driver's license, social security number, all the usual. We're very close to green card, and at that point, there's going to be a second income in the household that's going to be able to help out. Always good for that. And she'll be able to start her credit journey and eventually have good credit, and it's going to help big time. It's going to be huge help, because when you have low credit, it sucks, but suddenly you're able to get approved with no credit for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and then grow that to $10,000. When I was first, I'm living in the same place that when I was a kid, this was where I got my first secured card. I was actually a couple apartments away, kind of in the townhome section, doing an Airbnb. So it's kind of this crazy nostalgia. But when I was a kid, I remember getting my first Bank of America secured card, and it was like $200 to $300, whatever. Had it for 6-8 months or 10 months, I forgot what it was. And then it turned into a couple $1,000 limit. Eventually it grew to a $5,000 or $6,000 limit, where then I was able to get Amex, and I think I had a $10,000 or $15,000 or even up to $20,000 limit. So it is crazy. Now eventually I do have to get back to that position, but this year has been tough, and last year was even tougher because I had a worse credit score. But now I got 2 car loans, we got multiple credit cards, personal loans, well, at least me, and I'll be able to pay off everything, show this good payment history. My wife's going to be paying for her car, but right now I have to take it under myself. So there's a lot that's happening, and it's going to be tough. You got to hustle, you got to work through it, but big thing is rebuilding credit. So eventually you have good credit, which means you have good debt to play around with for businesses, because that's the end goal. Start a business on top of work and use that good debt for something. But right now we have a lot of bad debt. We've got to pay that off, and it's a very exciting time. So that's pretty much what's happening with me. Hopefully you guys are well. You have a good night. Take care. Bye.